When it comes to putting the elastic in, here's how I like to do is kind of, you don't need any fancy tools, just a couple of safety pins. I have one of these sturdy brass safety pins. I've got that pinned to one end of the elastic. And then the other end is elastic is also pinned, safety pinned to the facing. And you'll recall that you left a hole here in the facing for the elastic to go through. So you just feed it through and you just snake it through. Usually takes a little persuasion sometimes to get it to go through, but it should fit fine. There's plenty of space in the casing that you've created in the facing for the elastic. So feed it through. Be sure that this is pinned down on the other end so you don't feed it through all the way and then it ends up getting lost on the inside of the waistband. So just go all the way to the other side, and then you can safety pin it in place into the facing, into the hole, so you can try them on and judge for yourself whether you think the elastic is tight or loose enough for how you want to wear the pants. You may run into a situation when you get to, say, like, here's the seam for this facing, that it can be a little bulky in there, but if you squeeze the facing sideways, you can usually manage to get that sturdy safety pin through and to keep going around. Okay, so here's the safety pin, and with the elastic it has emerged from the other side of the other hole, and I'm just going to pin it temporarily down to the facing. I'm going to try these pants on and see how they fit. Then I'll see if I'm happy with how they're fitting, or if I want to remove a little of that elastic. So here I go. I've tried on my pants, and they're fitting pretty well in the front, but in the back they are pretty big. So I'm going to take in. I'm just going to sort of feel here about how much more I want to take in. Probably another couple inches. I'm going to remove a little of the elastic so that it will cinch them a little closer, and then we'll give that a try. So I've just unpinned the elastic that was in the back here. You can see it on the side, and I'm going to just scooch a couple of inches out, put the pin back in, have it go, be sure that it's going through the elastic and the waistband and the facing, then redistribute that elastic and see if it's fitting better. And I think it is better back there. I think it's good. I don't want it to be too tight. I don't want it to be too loose. I think it's fitting nice in the front. It's fitting nice on the side. It's fitting nice in the back. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to just remove a couple of inches of the elastic. I'm going to pin it back in place, and then I'm going to show you how to sew the elastic into the waistband facing so that it stays put. Also, of course, when you're trying out how much elastic you want, be sure to try to slide them on and off. Make sure that you can get it over your hips with the whatever length of elastic you think you want to use. So altogether, I removed an additional 3 inches. So from my back waist side to side in the back, I ended up cutting the elastic 5 inches shorter than that measurement. They're going to be gathered up quite a bit in the back. I wear these pants with shirts on the outside, so I don't care about that look in the back. Again, I happen to have a waist that's smaller than my hips quite a bit. Depending on your shape, you may get a completely different fit. Here are your 2 openings in the back with these brass safety pins holding the elastic in place to the facing. And what you're going to do is, just like how you stitched in the ditch before from the right side, you're going to just stitch down right in between, right along this line, and you just pull out the elastic a little bit, maybe just a half a centimeter or 3/4 of an inch or so that you're certain that you're going to catch that, and you're just going to stitch in the ditch right here along the side seam of the waistband, and you're going to capture that elastic within that seam, and you're going to do that on both sides. And again, you'll be doing this for whether you're making view A or B. You'll be doing the exact same thing. Okay, so again, here's our waistband facing. Here's the 1 inch hole that we left in the side seams. Here's the elastic that we've threaded through from one side of the back to the other. And then what we're going to do is maybe just pull it out a little bit just to give yourself a little runway. And then you can tuck it through the hole to the other side a little bit, just tiny bit, a couple millimeters or so. And then again, you get a good trusty safety pin, pin it so that it's within, you can feel, I can feel right here where that elastic is. And I'm just going to pin through the facing, going to pin through the facing. So that's this side, sorry. Yeah, you're going to pin through and just pin through the facing and capture the elastic within the pin so it doesn't go anywhere. And it'll look like this. And then what you're going to do is, again, like you did with the, if you did the waistband with a stitch in the ditch technique, we're going to do the exact same thing here. We're going to just stitch in the ditch right along this seam. So we've got that pinned, right? So the elastic is captured in there. And then from the right side, we're going to stitch in the ditch, again, just right along here, along the waistband side seam. Again, I lengthened my stitch here a little bit to about 3 or so millimeters, and I like to use my foot that has a guide on it. And you're just going to go through and sew right on top of the other seam where you just, this is the side seam for the waistband. And that will secure the elastic right in there. Just knot it off. And the hole is going to be where you inserted the elastic is still going to be there, so you'll need to sew that up. So here we go. Here's where the stitch in the ditch has been done. You can remove the safety pin at this point. You can just double check that everything is secure, and then you still have your little hole here, and you can just, with a couple of hand stitches, just close that up. So do that exact same thing also on the other side. Okay, and here we go. We've got our waistband together. We've got our little hole sewn closed, and the elastic going all the way around to both sides. And now all that is left to do is the hem. So if you're doing view A, which is the dress trouser, which is what I'm doing here, we're going to do a blind hem, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. And if you are doing view B, which is the jeans or the more casual style with the top stitching, it's just a simple turn and top stitch. And I'll show you on the pair that I've already made what that looks like. The turn and top stitch hem for jeans looks like every pair of jeans you ever had. I used a matching top stitching, but you can certainly make a contrasting one if you like. The casual top stitching, the jeans style one, is just looks like every jeans hem you ever saw. It's just a simple turn and top stitch. It's 1.5 inches or about 4 centimeters. So you can, I suggest you try on your pants, see how they fit, see how the length is for you, and then figure out what kind of hem you want to do. There's a 1.5 inch hem included, but you may want a little more or less. But if you want a little less, you should just trim off some of the excess. And then you simply just turn twice and just top stitch it down like I have here, and you are done. And again, if you're doing view A with the blind hem, there's a separate video to show you the blind hem, and we are going to do that now.